So welcome back. Hopefully you enjoyed the first video and have come back for more. I'm doing another 12 by 12 page today using a sketch from Susan Stringfellow for disneyscrappers.ning.com. This one has a 4 by 6, a 3 by 4. So I've got my photos for that. In terms of the sketch itself, we've got this kind of triangle background going on, various strips and layers behind the photos, some embellishments and a room for a title here at the bottom. I'm thinking at the moment that my journaling will go on these strips here, so that works well for me. In terms of photos today, I'm going to be using these two photos of my son, thing one, at Typhoon Lagoon. On the rapids ride in Ketchikiddee Creek. So I'm going to just trim a bit off the top and bottom of this because this is 4.5 by 6 and this one's my 3 by 4. On the sketch the photos are in this order, but I'm actually going to do them in this order so that my son is looking inwards in both photos, so I will just flip everything to the other side. And you'll see how that comes together. In terms of supplies today, I'm using products from the Elle Studio Sunny Days collection, which I absolutely loved and is absolutely perfect for Disney photographs in Florida. So I've used plenty of this collection already in my album. This I've already used as a background already, but I love it so much and it's perfect for Typhoon Lagoon with all these phrases that look like they've been stamped. So that's going to be my background. I've got some blue paper to make the triangles there and there. Put that to one side. Then I've got various other pieces from the Sunny Days collection. I've got some 6 by 6 papers, I've got the journaling tags, I've got the die cuts, I've got the puffy stickers, and that's all that's left. I've got the stamp set, I've got various other bits of paper. I've got the cut apart sheet, which I haven't actually gone into yet. I've got this 12 by 12 with sunglasses on the back. I've got some more scraps, bits of paper. I've got some other journaling tags from an Elle Studio kit that the colours are quite similar, so some of those may make it onto the page. I've also got these letter stickers, which I'm thinking would be good for my title, even though there's no red here. It goes together, so we'll see whether red's the right colour. I've also got these acrylic words that say highlights, currently, good times and today. So a couple of those may make it onto the layout. There's things that I've got that I haven't used, so they need to be used. And then from other collections I've got these acrylic shapes from the Chanel Starshine collection, and these enamel dots from Cocoa Vanilla Colour Me Happy. Haven't used any of those yet, so, and those colours match really well. The blue goes, the turquoise goes, so yeah, there we are. So the first thing I'm going to do is ink the edges of the blue triangles to go on the background. I'm using grey tuxedo ink from Memento Looks this time. It's a slightly softer look than a black, which works better for this particular layout as there's no black on here. My other colour of choice for inking is brown, but again that wouldn't work on this particular design. As you can see, my triangles are not exactly even. This is because I cut a rectangle instead of a square from my paper. It doesn't bother me that much because I know that the central point where they meet is going to be covered up, so hopefully you won't notice. Now I've got to find a couple of papers to go behind the photo to create some layers. I'm just going through the 6 by 6 papers just to find some colours that might work. Again, I'm just looking and putting in a pile what may work. Not all of these papers will make it onto the layout at all. I'm just literally going through and seeing what may make it and may not. I really like this wood grain here, but I really struggled to make it work. I also like this turquoise, but against the photo itself, it doesn't quite go with the green, and the wood grain against the photo was blending in with the kind of neutral tones of the rocks there on the rapids ride. So I went back and forth a few times with some different bits of paper, and in the end decided to choose a vellum layer directly behind the photograph, and discard that wood grain. I've just torn a rough frame around the edge of the photograph. I love the look of torn vellum. It creates a real soft look for the frame, and having the turquoise behind the vellum will reduce the intensity of that colour, particularly against the greens there in the photograph. So quite pleased with how that vellum layer turned out in the end. Just sticking those two together. You'll notice here that I'm not sticking anything to the background just yet. I'm going to build up the layers behind the photograph first of all, and then stick the entire arrangement down towards the end of the process. Just looking at that wood grain again, seeing if I can make that work at all, and it will get discarded. Next, I'm going to have a look at the cut apart sheet and get some of the small pieces at the bottom cut out. Oh wait, no, sorry, I'm not doing that first. I am finding some paper to create the banner strips that go directly behind the photograph. So I'm going to use a piece of this yellow 12x12 paper to create one of the banners. And yeah, so there you go, just sliding that one behind. Bit of ink on the edge. I'm actually remembering to ink the edges as I go here, so which is good stuff, good news for me. I don't have any more 12x12 papers in this collection, so I'm going to use one of these 6x6 papers in the grey. And what I've done is just literally cut it into two smaller pieces, and I'll slip one behind each end of the photograph arrangement there. So from this view, it will look like it's one longer strip of paper, but to you, me, and the rest of YouTube, we will know that it's actually two pieces of paper behind the arrangement. So I'm just using the cut off part there to line them up so that they're nice and straight. So there you go. No one will ever know. Now back to that cut apart sheet. I'm just cutting out a few of the different phrases here. I'm not looking particularly at what they say at this stage. I'm just choosing by colour. I'm going for the blues, the greys, the turquoise, the yellows, that kind of thing. So just cutting those out, and I will just gather those with anything else that I can find, and then start the process of filtering out what is going to make the layout and what's going to go back on the discard pile. So yeah, I go through this process quite a lot. If I've got a colour scheme going on, then I'll find things in that colour scheme, and without looking particularly at what the embellishment is or what it says. There's a lot of these things that say similar things or say things that aren't quite appropriate, like there's a blue around here at the top there, which perhaps isn't quite appropriate for what I'm going to say on this layout. So but it's the right colour, so it makes the first cut. I'm going to go through all of the journaling cards and the die cuts and bits and pieces that I've got. So again, just looking for things in the right colours. I've got this acrylic good times phrase, which I think is a good choice for this layout. My son is having a great time at Ketchikiddee Creek. He absolutely loves the water and the rapids rides, and Ketchikiddee Creek is fantastic for little ones who are just not quite big enough for those the biggest rapids rides and things. Not that he didn't go on them, because he did, but these ones he can go on by himself, and you know, that makes him feel quite important, which is crucial for a 4.5-year-old, as any parent out there will know. So I've got various bits and pieces, and I've lined them up all around the my desk, around the layout, and I'm just now going through, picking up the odd piece, seeing what I can make work. I've got those cute little sunglasses, but they're not quite right for this layout. They're a bit big for what I'm looking for. I'm looking for small things that I can just tuck in around the photographs. I've got that big turquoise square that I'm trying to fit in, and I think up the top there is the best place. I was a bit worried about turquoise on turquoise, but I've put it on top of the vellum, which creates a minimal layer in between the two turquoise papers there. So I'm now looking just for some more phrases. I'm thinking about whether a line of turquoise phrases is right, but I don't think I had a third that would work, so I've gone with 3 different colours. The yellow one in the middle there says favourite photos. Now that is the American spelling, and obviously I'm not American. Sometimes it bothers me, other times it doesn't. I'm you know, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, then you know. I've put the Good Times acrylic piece directly onto the photograph. I think it looks quite nice there, nestled in the corner there, and fitting around where he is on the tube. So I'm just sticking down all the pieces now that are going to go on the photo, on that central kind of photo arrangement. And what I've decided is that I'm going to raise the whole thing on some foam squares. So I'm just going to put those all over the back and get that stuck down. All of the other strips and embellishments will go flat on the background, so it's just that central portion that will be raised slightly off of the background paper. Yeah, just a bit more ink in. And there we are. So all of the paper pieces are down. I'm now looking at some smaller embellishments. I'm going to go with these enamel dots from Cocoa Vanilla. I'm just trying to work out which colour, whether the turquoise or the blue is the right colour. In the end I went with the turquoise, simply because there's already a lot of the dark blue on this page with those 2 triangles in the background, and I wanted something that would stand out on that line of embellishments. As I put the dots down, what I'm looking to do is try to overlap at least one layer, whether it's a paper layer or whether it's a layer on that background sheet. So you'll see at the top corner there where that sunshine is, I've put an enamel dot overlapping the sunshine and the white background. So it's just another interesting look for the eye. And I've got my Mickey head down there in the bottom right hand corner. Just struggling with where to put that one. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that now. So here we are with the finished layout. I'm quite pleased with how this one turned out in the end. The colour scheme is really nice with these photographs. The yellow's picking up on the tube here, the blue's picking up on his shirt and his hat. Yeah, it just looks quite nice, a little bit tropical, you know, happy-go-lucky, nice and bright, which is reflective of the days that we had in Typhoon Lagoon last year. So if we just take a quick look back at our sketch, we had our 2 photos, the strips, the line of embellishments, and these triangles in the background. As I said, I flipped the sketch, so I've made a complete mirror image of the arrangement, so that my son in both photographs is looking into the page rather than out. In terms of other changes I made to the sketch, I put my journaling on some of these strips here. Again, just typed it out in Word and printed those out and cut them with my trimmer. On the sketch, the title was down here. In the end, I decided not to put a title there. I had this acrylic word that I put on, which wasn't part of the sketch, and I think that actually works quite well as a title. It just says Good Times, which these were good times. He's having a great time in Ketchikiddee Creek, and I think that looks quite nice there. It's quite organic. It fits nicely in around him coming down rapids there. In order not to leave an empty space, I just stamped the date a few times there at the bottom in the grey tuxedo ink, and that kind of style mimics the style on the background papers here. Other than that, my line of embellishments runs on the diagonal, just the opposite way, and yeah, so there we go. Hope you enjoyed video number 2, and I will see you back for more soon. Thank you.